Hello everyone, it's AD with kayxztarot and I'm going to be doing your pick a card reading today, guys. Thank you so much for joining me. Welcome back to the channel. If you're old, welcome to the channel. If you're new, we're so happy to have you here as we grow and expand, guys. So, where we are today, we are stumbling upon Valentine's Day. And so I wanted to do a love-centered reading, guys, and I could not think of a better way then sexuality, sensuality, feminine energy if you're a woman, divine masculine energy if you're a man. I want to get into it. What makes you special? What makes you tick? Particularly if you are not in a relationship, right? If you're not in a relationship for Valentine's Day, don't need one because you can love and flatter yourself, you know what I'm saying? And then if you are in a relationship and you're trying to spike it up and you just want to do something special for your boo thing because y'all been sitting looking at each other, for almost a year now, I want to support you too. So I hope that this is one of those things that people can really find fun and hopefully build up that confidence. I love talking about sensuality, sexuality, but I couldn't think of a reason to do it until now. So I hope that you enjoy. Please let me know if you like these kind of readings. So take a moment to meditate, guys. I have 3 piles in front of me. The first pile is going to be this red deck. I can't think of the name of it, but it'll be in the description box. This purple deck. And then we have this third kind of creamish deck. So take a moment, see which one of these resonates with you. I have also picked oracle cards beforehand. I just didn't want to shuffle and make this video super duper long. So I also have some oracle cards that I'll be pulling at the end of each of the readings. Okay, guys? So I'm going to take a moment. Let's meditate, pick a pile. All right, and in the description box below or in the comment section, there will be the timestamps and I will meet you over there. All righty, so let's move into it. Let's get scooting and booting. Of course, I forgot to put all the other cards up, so let's see. All right, so right now, give me a second. Okay, so welcome to the reading. This is if you picked pile number 1, this red deck that we have here. So this pick a card reading is about what makes you sexy. What's your sex appeal? Like, what is that little thing that you got going that you can exploit or not, or just keep it to yourself, So I want to do something fun for Valentine's Day, guys. Please let me know what you think. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe if this resonates, and let's dig into it. I'm going to pick 9 cards from this deck, 9-ish cards, and then I have some oracles that we'll look into at the end. So yeah, let's just hop straight into it, guys. Thank you so much for joining me on the channel. So let's see, pile 1, what is your sex appeal? What makes you sexy? 2 and ooh. All right, so we already had some come out. I'm not going to take them. A lot of Scorpio energy. I see a lot of Scorpionic energy. Oh, please keep in mind, guys, that I do subscribe to Vedic astrology, Eastern sidereal astrology. So chances are it'll probably move your sign back if you subscribe to Western. So please check that out if you're watching videos on my channel. You should know both because, the more the merrier. You should have all different perspectives of yourself. So therefore, you can develop your own. But yeah, I personally really enjoy and love Vedic astrology. So that's where my energy is resonating with. So be mindful. All right, let's look into it. So what makes pile 1 sexy? All right, so the first card out we have is the 5 of Cups. Sorry, I'm knocking the table. The 9 of Swords. The 5 of, what's this, Pentacles. I just heard you be leaving people on red. Pile 1, you do not play. The 4 of Pentacles. I'm getting an aloofness. Oh, no, yeah. The 6 of Wands. The Chariot card. And then for our last 3 cards, we have the Six of Cups. All right. The Page of Pentacles. And the King of Swords. All right. So we have a very interesting energy pile one. I really think that your sex appeal kind of lies in... You're almost like forbidden fruit. I feel like you attract a lot of people who are already in a committed relationship, which we're going to dig into it. That's a vibe. Okay, that's something. But I do feel like there's something forbidden about your relationships. There's something that can't be touched. As far as your physical features, I think that you're banging. I think that you got a nice little booty scooty. You know what I'm saying? I think that you got a nice little tushy. Even if it's not big, I feel like it's, you know, you can get busy. And then I feel like you have very full kind of breast. But I do see... there's this aloofness and this coolness to you. So you attract people who could already be involved in another relationship, another connection, but they can't help but sit and think about you and fantasize about you. So you might have you probably might have like Pisces in the 8th or some, or Jupiter, in Vedic astrology, Jupiter rules Pisces. So there's that. Little side note, but I feel like you could have really strong Jupiter placements or really strong Piscean placements. But people just want to give to you and want to comfort, want to give to you and kind of keep you fed and like well taken care of. Like, I'm sorry, I'm hearing kind of mistress. I'm not sure if we have some Lana Del Rey fans, but I'm getting very like Lana-esque vibes where you can end up dating people who are in other commitments, but they have financial support. So, if that doesn't resonate with you, then I do see you having this energy of you really, really play hard to get. You are not the easiest to impress. The Five of Cups, the Nine of Swords, the Five of Pentacles. You have no issue leaving hoes on red. No issue. You're like, I'll get back to that later. I'm sensing some Aquarius energy. There's a detachment to love. But when people do work for you, and people do show persistence with the Six of Wands, I do think that you open up and you are very fast to move forward in those kind of passionate environments. So as hard as you are to get, once you're like all over, like a rabbit to an extent. And so I imagine that people find that kind of volatile a little bit. There's a little volatileness. People find that extremely sexy and extremely alluring because they don't know, no one really knows where they stand with you for a very long time. And then I feel like some of you, you're gone as quick as you came. Like you kind of appear as like this mystical person out of nowhere. And then people are super, super drawn to you. They work for you. Maybe you guys do exchange and then you're kind of on to the next one. I do see like this kind of flighty energy from you. You're always on the move. You do like, and that's why I get that you attract people who are already in some sort of situation. That could also be why you are flighty. Just because you're already with somebody else. But I do see that you cause a lot of jealousy. So some of you guys could really have a nice banging body and it causes a lot of jealousy and you don't even realize it because you are so alluring, but people dare not come speak to you. People dare not take the challenge because they really don't want to be rejected by you. So I could imagine that in fact, you might have always suffered from insecurities or things because you might be a fuller person or a shapelier person or even like just a really skinny person who can fit into clothes really well, like a model-esque something about you. And I feel like you've had issues with other feminine energies because they're competitive and you don't necessarily understand why. There could have been some nasty rumors spread about you, but you just have this aura of, I want that girl. I don't know what I want from her. I don't know exactly what she does, but she's doing something to me. And I feel like you've taken that in the past as kind of like a rejection because it's left you pretty isolated. I feel like you're very, very attractive. And people look at you and are just kind of like, why aren't you in a relationship? Why aren't you with people? And you're like, I feel like I don't attract the right kind of people. I feel like I'm always attracting people who are on the move or something doesn't really take off when it seems like it's going to. So there's this sense of isolation where you can honestly be sort of imprisoned by your looks and your sex appeal because it's so strong. But you play it so cool. You play it super duper cool. I don't think a lot of people know that about you, how internal and reflective you are and how much you honestly want a relationship, but you're just like, you're going to have to beg for me. You're going to have to beg for me. I am not giving it up for nothing. I feel like you're a very, you require a lot to please. People who come at you, they need money. They need romance. Your standards are pretty high. And for people, and it's crazy too, because I feel like a lot of your relationships could happen in the reverse. Now, what do I mean by that? I feel like you'll meet somebody, you get into contact with somebody, perhaps they'll end up in another relationship or they already were, and then they fantasize and think about you a heck of a lot after the relationship seems to be over with the Six of Cups. So there's always like this distance between you and that person that you're with. And I know that sounds like, well, that's not sexy at all, but it's very dreamy. So people project a lot onto you. That's why I'm picking up Piscean energy like a sponge. People project a lot of energy into you and onto you. And so there's a deep fantasy surrounding you. So don't think that you're not alluring. The reason why you feel so isolated is because your sex appeal is so otherworldly that people don't know how to approach you. It's not because people aren't attracted to you. They are intimidated by you, quite honestly. And I think that people with relationships do take those steps forward because at the end of the day, they don't really have anything to lose. Like they don't have anything to lose. If you're dealing with somebody who's single, they could be difficult to approach. Because if you reject them, then they don't have anybody to go home to. Like they're just rejected, and nobody wants to just go home rejected. That's not fun. But I see that you get a lot of attention, pile one, but I don't think that you recognize it. I think that your sex appeal is pretty hidden because I think that you don't share it. There's a shyness that I have that I'm getting from you. But when that person is victorious, so you'll probably do with fire energy, somebody who pushes you and kind of crosses your balance and takes you out of the shyness with the Four of Pentacles, you do move quite fast, and you do have like a really kind of Aries type energy when people give you a shot. But I don't think that relationships make it that far for you up until this point, just because you've been paying off other karma. So let's look. There was some, oops. Sorry, guys. I realize I flipped the deck kind of crazy. Let's see if there's any more information from the tarot. But yeah, there's like this Romeo and Juliet energy to you. I feel like you have, yeah, the Three of Swords. There's like this, it's like this kind of teenage fever is what I'm hearing by Drake, where people just, they're obsessed with you, but there's something heartbreaking about it because they feel like they can't touch you. And there's always hateration, holleration in the background. So that's a really interesting sex appeal vibe, guys. It's very mysterious. It's very mysterious. There's also something here about music. With the violin and the harp there. So it could be you could dance or you sing very well, or your tone of voice is very alluring. I feel like some of you might have like a deeper voice for a feminine energy or a softer voice for a masculine, and that's very, very attractive. But again, you only talk when talked to. Like, you don't put yourself out there. I feel like people just admire you from afar and are very scared to approach you. So very interesting energy. Let's look into some of the oracle cards that you got. Whoa, Pluto, what I say, scorpionic energy here, guys. There's just something so dark and moody about you. And there's also and it's funny because I got this from another reader and it was weird when I heard it. So I know it's going to be weird when you do. But there's something here about a sadness that you have where like you can gaze off into the window or you look off into the distance and people can see that longing that you have. And there's something super attractive about that because I do think that masculines in particular do want to fill that hole. And feminine, you know what? Let me take that back. Feminines too, if you are a masculine watching this, then there's something about you. There's something about your distance that's very sexy, and that people want to approach, but at the same time, it's super scary. It's very Edward Cullen vampire. It's very, I've been watching True Blood. Sorry. So you're going to hear a lot of that. It's very Bill, Bill from True Blood. And then, yeah, we also have this air sign. So that's so funny. So this is Aquarius, Libra, Gemini. Like I said, I picked up, I don't know if I said it out loud, but I picked up on that Aquarius aloof type energy. So you're kind of all over the place. People don't, like I said, that volatile energy, people don't know what to get from you when they see you. You could be all over the place, and like you could be very detached at the same. You can be super super in it, or you can be very detached. It just depends when this person catches you. And the Chariot card, so you could have some Cancerian placements here too. There's a moodiness. There's a moodiness to you, but this isn't your sex appeal reading, so people can find moodiness sexy. Okay, as a fellow moody you know what I'm saying, I stay with the mood swings, and I'm single, but somebody will enjoy it one day. Anyways, we move into this air energy. So you can go from extremes of, again, being extremely intense in something and then not. And then here we go with the sun. So Leo energy. I'm also picking up an Aries energy. So that's why when people get past the Scorpio, and then they get past the deepness of the Scorpio, the aloofness of the Aquarius, then they move into the sun sign. They move into this fire, passionate energy that you have to hold. But people really have to work and kind of dig to get into that energy of yours, because you're so standoffish with this Four of Pentacles. You will be like, ha, no. If you're not there, then show me where the dollar's at if you got something to say to me. You know what I'm saying? So there's a really kind of fun energy, a challenge that you put towards people when they want to approach you. That is very, very sexy. And people can't figure it out. They can't quite put their fingers on it, okay? So we got 10th house here. So I feel like your 10th house might be an immutable sign, which means that your first house or your rising sign could be Gemini, Pisces, Virgo, what's the fire one? Sagittarius, excuse me. So you could have any of those mutable signs. So I feel like you have mutable signs in public houses. So that's where the projection comes in. Any of those partnership houses, you fit into whatever people project on you. Like I said, Pisces, Virgo, Gemini, and Sagittarius are very, very strong energies. That's why it's so difficult to get to know you, because you might be a person who like acts like you might be an actress or a writer or just an artist of some sort, a really sensitive soul. So you put on these different masks. You have all these different layers that people have to peel through. But there's also a groundedness with this 10th house. It's traditionally ruled by Capricorn, Saturn. So there's a groundedness, and I think that you want something that's long-term. You're in it for the long haul, and that is very sexy. Once you determine and fixate on something, you're going to do it. You are going to push through it. You're not going to let it go. Here we go again with that Scorpio energy. So strong scorpionic vibes, strong moon in Scorpios. I'm getting Virgo, Scorpio mix in particular in some way, shape, or form. So there's a lot of transformation. Like I said, you might be kind of like me. You might go through different wigs. You might change your hair. You might change your clothes. You might have different styles. You might listen to different music. I just feel like there's a mystery around you that people can't quite put their hands on, because you're such a deep thinker, excuse me. But at the same time, you want to experience and do all these different things. So that's super sexy. People have to be able to keep up with you. And I think that there's been a lot of heartbreak with the Three of Swords there, because people can't. And that's okay. People will eventually. Yeah, we got this Black Moon Lilith mystery. So very strong, intense, sensual energy, guys. I feel like you look really good in blacks, really good in reds. The mystery behind you and getting to know you is so sexy. It oozes power, control, and I feel like some of you would be surprised at how dominant you can become in the bedroom, and other people are surprised at how dominant you become, because you're just like this thing to chase, and then when somebody finally gets you, you're just like, yeah, now do what I want, you know? Period. Okay. So we got Moon Soul. Like I said, there's a strong Cancerian energy, a moodiness, a phasiness to you. Very deep, complex. You're not one-dimensional. You're far from it. Deeply intuitive. And I think that plays into your sex appeal too, because you can tune into people's energies, tune into people's bodies in a way that your pursuers might not be used to, you know? And it's just so mysterious. It's just so, I want to get to know this person. And then Saturn, true. So again, with that Capricornian energy, I do want to say that too. I'm getting this energy where you might have again, Vedic astrology, you might have a Venus K2 conjunction, or you might have a Venus Saturn conjunction. A lot of these lessons in your love life, and why it could have been difficult for you to get into these relationships, is because you've had to pay off a lot of past karmas. Because in past lives, I think that you may have abused your sensuality and your sexuality. I feel like you were the kind of flighty one. You might have been very, very successful successful, very prominent in a past life. And so you kind of took relationships and were just like, whatever, like, I don't care. I don't need anybody. I'm sexy. I'm doing my thing. I'm not looking to settle down. And so what ended up happening in this next reincarnation, in this one that you're in, you had to learn the importance of relationships. And so that only happens when you feel like you keep losing them. So when your relationship does come through after all this time, you'll probably really, really settle down in your 30s. If you haven't settled down already, and if you're watching in the past and you probably did settle in your 30s, it will be long term. It will be for the long haul, because you're not going to want to go through this phase again. This is a very difficult energy to tap into. But again, with Scorpio, Aquarius energy, you're very, very loyal. You're very, very faithful. You're in it for the long haul. And I think that's why you're so slow to give it up, because you're not just going to do it with anyone, even though you sometimes might, if your desires if your flesh is like screaming for it. But for the most part, you would rather be in something steady, and that has caused delay in your relationships. Okay, so that's kind of like what I'm getting. But this energy will move. And again, there's a groundedness. As flighty as you are, where's the moon? These are like opposites. So we got Capricorn energy here and Cancerian energy here. So they're opposites. So that's why I'm like, you are a wide spectrum of different things. And that is sexy, because people have to learn how to keep up with you. But you're so serious, but at the same time, it feels like you could disappear at any moment. So I'm getting like this really kind of gypsy, flighty energy. Maybe mermaid. You might identify with mermaids. Yeah. So yeah, we got this again, this elk nobility. So that Capricorn 10th house energy. You might have Venus in the 10th. I know I have Venus K2 in the 10th, so I get this reading. So you might have a similar energy to that in Pisces. So anyways, we got elk nobility. Celebrate your accomplishments with humility. You are crowned with success. Powerful forces guide you. Your ability to conquer challenges is limitless. I love this. So you're so strong. You're so grounded, and all the craziness and all the flightiness that you do on the outside, you deep down, you truly have this nobility about you. That people know that if they come to pursue you, they have to be up to par. That's again why there's been so much frustrations in your life, because you require a certain level of accountability and respect and authority from your partners with that Saturn energy there that you need. And again, that's very, very, very sexy to people who are turned on by ambition. So a lot of you guys could be your own business owners, or you have that desire to run your own business, and you work very hard, discipline, in spite of seeming like you're not that way. But I think that people fail to get to know you on that deep level to see that you are, in fact, one of the most grounded people to grace this planet. It just takes a while to get there. So you're full of contradictions, like most of us are. So I love that. All these energies that are kind of clashing and coinciding and teaching you and learning is very sexy. And I feel like there's a darkness and a mystique to you that's very, very attractive. So I'm looking at these cards. Normally you see them this way, but I'm looking at the art. So with this card, I definitely see that there's a light that shines on you. You could have the capacity for deep empathy, especially with that moon card there. So some of you guys could find yourself in the healing arts of some sort, but I feel like your energy and your presence is very healing to other people. And I think that you do have a love for humanity. I think that you do have a love for everything else. And that's how you kind of end up in these relationships with people who are relatively unavailable, be it because they're in another relationship or just because their past relationships have been afflicted. So you definitely have like this guiding light. And for other people, you know, I'm also getting that you pop out of nowhere. You're there and then you're gone. There's this whirlwind energy kind of around you when you come in. It's like, oh my gosh, it's as if when Zeus reveals his true form, you know, people like burn up. So I think that your true form burns people up. And that's very difficult. That's very difficult because it's so strong. It's so forceful, but it's just because you are meant to be in a long-term established relationship. If you have not found that yet, it is coming into you, but there's something very sexy and alluring about your aura. Yeah, I also get here you smell really well. There's something here about your natural scent, or you pick up on scents really easily. My little sister, and I hope that she picks this pile, because shout out to her and the way that her body works. She can pick up a scent and like it carries out the entire house if she bathes in Bath and Body Works. It's just something about her chemistry that just really picks up on scents. And so I feel like you might smell really, really good. And your natural scent smells really, really good. There's just something very alluring about you. Again, I've been watching True Blood, so there might be a little fairy pixie kind of energy on you. I could see some of you might have like Tinkerbell tattoos or really relate to Tinkerbell. But yeah, there's this very comfort, and I feel like there's warm. I feel like you're a warm person. You're a warm body. And finally, yeah, we have this snake with this knowledge. So I do feel like after people, and especially with the Saturn and the 10th house energy, after people encounter you and really get to intertwine with you in that snaky way. So again, the way your body moves is also super sexy, and you might not be aware of that consciously. But people learn from you. These lessons, there's lessons that come with your relationships. I would not be surprised if you have some sort of Venus-Saturn conjunction or Venus-Saturn aspect, because there's always a lesson. People who come into contact with you always learn something about themselves, learn something about the world, learn something about humanity itself. So there's this calling, and this, people get so wrapped up in you, wrapped up in your energy. But again, I feel like it's from a distance. People don't necessarily come forward because they're scared. They're scared of the power that you do offer. So that's something that's really super duper interesting that we got for you, Pile 1. So did I finish? Oh my gosh, I didn't even realize I finished it. So that is really what I got for you. Let me see, just because that was an awkward note to end on. Let me adjust my wig a little bit. Yeah, the 8 of Wands. Okay, so finally we have the 8 of Wands. So yeah, there is this energy to kind of end on another note. I do feel like you are meant to be with people who are accomplished, Pile 1. There's something, another sexy thing about you is that people genuinely want to take care of you. People want to feed you. They want to spoil you. There's like this weird childlike energy about you because you're so distant, so people want to give to you to keep you here. So I feel like you could end up in these relationships with people who are like love languages are gift giving, because they think if they continue to give you gifts, then you'll stick around, because if they don't give you anything, then like they feel like you'll be gone. So you might attract a lot of lovers who are just super giving and super indulgent about you. So if you, again, been feeling that really strong K2 energy where nothing, just every love encounter is kind of like this bottomless pit, people just disappear, people are scared to approach you, people don't speak to you when you're out, it'll all be rewarded with this really super giving, awesome energy that somebody will have for you. And the long-term connections that you're in, you'll be taken care of very well. So although Saturn might not like the moon, Saturn loves Venus. So once you wait and have that discipline about love and respect and honor relationships as they are, then you will be treated with one of the best relationships where it's filled with really great energy. So there's a fullness about you too. So that's what I got for you, Pile 1. Please let me know what you thought of this. Very interesting reading, very interesting energies that you have flowing through you. So please channel them, and I hope that you enjoy this Valentine's Day, guys. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Leave me a comment. Let me know if this resonates. All right, let me know if this resonated, and I will see you. Thank you so much. Peace, guys. Until, oh, wait, just kidding. Check out the description box if you'd like to book a personal reading with me, or follow me on Instagram and TikTok. So that's what I got. Peace, guys. Until next time. Alrighty. So let me clear this energy. Let me clear my board. Alrighty. Okay. Sorry. if you're watching this part, I'm like adjusting in the middle before we go in for the next take. Okay. All right, guys. Hey, welcome to Pile 2. This is if you picked the purple deck, guys. So this is going to be a reading for Valentine's Day, and it's about what makes you sexy, what makes you attractive, okay? This is for singles. This is for people in relationships. I just want to build that up, you know, sexy, sexy, sexy. Let's get it. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. excuse me, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. I have some other oracle cards here that I'll pick towards the ending, but let's go ahead and jump into the reading. Thank you so much for your support, and yeah, let's dig into it. All right, so for pile 2, what is their sex appeal? What makes them so sexy? All right, so we're starting here with the Knight of Swords. Getting strong Gemini energy. The 10 of Swords. The 3 of Wands. The 8 of Wands. Whew, your communication, that mind. People are so attracted to that mind. Yeah, I'm hearing the word sapiosexual, so your intellect is killer. Very smart. Yeah. What makes pile 2 sexy? What is this? The Hermit card, the Seeker. Virgo energy 2, just really mercurial ruled. The 2 of Cups. The 8 of Cups. Wow, so you got 2 8s, guys. What makes pile 2 sexy? Okay. The 2 of Swords and the King of Wands. All right, so super interesting energies. Let me tune into this, see what we're working with. Please keep in mind, guys, that I subscribe to Vedic sidereal astrology. So chances are it'll move your sign back. But please, you should know both your Western and your sidereal if you subscribe to me. Those are the energies that I work with. I found them to be more accurate for myself. So that's what I'm going with. Alrighty. Right. So right off the bat, like I said, your intellect is crazy. I feel like you are definitely one of those people who could be bisexual, pansexual, certainly maybe some Venus and Aquarius, Venus and Gemini, really strong. You really like to meet people on an intellectual level, more so than physical. So I don't think that you necessarily care about what form that comes in, what gender that comes in. That might not be for everyone, but I feel like for some people who pick this pile, abso-freaking-lutely. And there's nothing wrong with that. That is a vibe. So there is something here again, and it could have to do with the air energy that I'm picking up on with this 2 of Swords, 2 of Cups. Because you're so intellectually sound, I feel like what really makes you sexy is like you're pretty detached from your emotions. You might attract other people who are super detached from their emotions, where you really can talk to people. You might not be the most like sexual person in nature. If you are, I might suggest picking another pile. I did pile 1, but I haven't done pile 2 yet, but it takes a lot of communication and talking in order for you to kind of open up and step more into this passionate energy, this King of Wands energy. So you have fire in you, but it really takes a long time to kind of get it to boil. You put people through a lot of tests. I feel like you're quick-witted. People have to do all kinds of mental gymnastics in order to keep up with you, with the 10 of Swords and the 8 of Swords here. I do feel... And this is popping up in the what makes you sexy reading, like what makes you what's your sex appeal. So it's an interesting vibe, you know, it's an interesting vibe. But I do feel that you have an energy here of just kind of ghosting people or like just cutting off communication, where people will be pursuing. And you're like, well, bye, gotta go, not gonna talk to you. Like you are very avoidant, I would say, of kind of deep emotional connections. And so people try really hard. I'm trying to think if there's a movie. You know, hopefully one will come to me, or maybe in pile 2 in the comment section, you can list a movie that this reminds you of, where somebody is very much a intellectual based person, not feelings. I'm not sure if you've seen The Queen's Gambit. That is a great example. That's a great example of kind of the energy that I got, that I'm getting from you. Some of you in a way could consider yourself or have considered yourself with the Seeker, not emotionally, socially awkward, because I don't feel like people understand where you're coming from. Like, you're very smart in a different degree, so you might not do well with small talk, but the people who are attracted to you are super attracted to your intellect. But I do get this energy of feeling kind of isolated by your thoughts, by your mind, and wanting to kind of break free from that. But I do feel like there's a little bit of advice here too, pile 2, about expanding your horizon. Step out of your comfort zone. I do think that spirit wants you to open up to the emotional side of you. You are an emotionally charged being. People want to access that with you. I feel like you, pile 2, of all the piles that I've done thus far, which is 1, but you might already be in a connection somewhat. Or somebody has really genuinely been trying to pursue you, but because you have been so and you're so logical when it comes to love and emotions, spirit is saying, hey, open yourself up with this 8 of Cups. Leave that hermit mode. Look, be optimistic about your love life. I think that you spent a lot of time being misunderstood, but you found somebody who truly understands you, and this is potential to build. So some of you guys are really close to union energy, but again, I just see very, very, very heavy intellect. Let's see. What is pile 1 sex appeal? One more, please. Yeah, I also feel like you're a dreamer. So some of you guys, the 4 Cups, right? I'm getting this energy where you are definitely like, you could be working in STEM. So I feel like your sexiness isn't the traditional, what people would consider sexy. You're like the sexy librarian, you know, you're like the sexy person who is so smart and like has beat everybody in calculus, and like everyone's like, whoa, where normally it seems like you've been outcast, like where you've been misunderstood, but that really is your super strength. I think that the person that you will encounter might not even be up to par on your intellect, but they just appreciate how freaking smart you are. So I definitely see you being one of those STEM research, could be a doctor, could be a lawyer, something that is traditionally not sexy because it requires thoughts. But there's something here about this dreamer energy. Some of you guys could work in tech. And so you have like these really big ambitions about where you see technology going, or where you see futures, could be public health or something, where you see health going, and just kind of how technology is going to help heal people and all this other stuff. You're just on some next level wavelength. I'm also getting some strong Aquarius energy. And there's a visionary quality about you that people find really, really attractive, even if they don't know what you're talking about. You can be talking about coding and they're like, I don't care what you just said, but it sounded so hot, you know? So don't be afraid to share your thoughts and your visions with people, because I do think that you have some really stellar, awesome ideas. And you haven't thought of your intellect, your intellect as like the super sexy thing, but it really, really, truly is. But you have to be open, share yourself, open yourself up, especially with this Knight of Cups. This is just another signal from spirit to really open up emotionally if you've been hesitant to. But you've definitely, like, yeah, you could have been the book person, the person who read books all the time, maybe not the most social growing up. But it's time for you to break out of that shell, the 4 Cups. I do think that there's a loneliness, just because intellect isn't necessarily celebrated. Like, for instance, I think, and people could disagree with me on this one, but I think that Kim Kardashian is probably not probably, she's a smart woman. She comes from Kris Jenner is a smart lady. But of course, she's not talking about what she does on a business day-to-day on Keeping Up with the Kardashians. Nobody really cares about that. Everybody kind of cares about her figure and like what she's wearing and kind of what she's doing. So her intellect doesn't necessarily get the praise. So I understand where you're coming from, being like, man, no one's ever found me sexy because nobody, you don't see Megan Thee Stallion, shaking her booty with the E=MC² on her ass. Like, it doesn't work like that. But I do feel like you're misinterpreting sex appeal. And the more that you step into yourself, you could be a sexy scientist. That lab coat, trust me, it's somebody's fantasy to be like, hey, I want to concoct something for you, come and get my potion. So I do feel like you could have a lot of fun once you release yourself from that mental burden. And I'm also hearing, and this is a little you know, take it with a grain of salt. But being smart and being smarter than the average bear does not have to be the most exciting or interesting thing about you, right? So I dated somebody who thought that he was very smart, and I thought that he was smarter than me, for what it's worth. And like, that was like his thing, that he was smart and everybody else was dumb, you know? So that can become its own prison when you start thinking that you're above. Just because your intellect is higher than the average bear, it doesn't mean that you have to shut yourself down from the rest of society because you feel not understood. There's other people like you, and again, you have to humble yourself and humble that ego. You know, intellect is a gift. Being able to do math, I can't do math. No, but that's a gift, but it doesn't make me any less of a person. So I do see that some of you might teeter on that. And again, it could be this Aquarian energy. I'm going to pull cards to see what energies you're working with, but be mindful of that, particularly when you're dating, that just because you're smarter than somebody else does not mean that they can't love you and appreciate you, and it does not mean that you are better or worse than them. You just have to understand how to communicate with one another, because I'm sure both of you want the same daggone things. All right, so now let's move into y'all's energy to see what you got going. Right, so here we go. We got the Virgo energy, the Virgin. So there's a purity to you. So some of you guys might be, you know, you might not have tapped into that sexuality yet because you've been focusing on schools, studies, schools, studies, all that good stuff, work. But there is, again, something here. There is something here about that intellect and that quick moving mind. You know, you're very critical, and sometimes, again, you could be too critical in love. So chill out, have fun. Love should be a fun thing. And then you got the card Venus here. Love this. So you could have Venus in Virgo, which in, okay, sorry. I don't know what she's doing. I hope that she stops. Sorry. So Venus in Virgo could be detriment. Not could be, it is Mercury retrograde. Let me chill. Venus in Virgo is in detriment because Venus flourishes in Pisces, is exalted in Pisces. So in Virgo, it is in detriment. And basically that means you spend too much, long story short, you spend a lot of time thinking and criticizing instead of experiencing. There is an idealization when it comes to love with that Virgo energy. You want the perfect love. You want it to be perfect and to settle. Well, there's no such thing as perfection. And I think that, yeah, Spirit is asking you to kind of step away from this, even though it's one of your really sexy qualities and you should strive for it. As far as like really developing a real settled relationship, you might have to come off of some of those expectations, those extremely high ideals that you have. But again, this Venus card, so a lot of you could be very, very attractive. Aphrodite's, you know, I do feel like there's a sensuality in your movement. Some of you guys could dance, or you're good at water sports. So you could be good at like surfing, or like riding waves. I'm seeing water, swimming. But yeah, so there's something like a mermaid quality about you with this energy here. And there's, again, a really lovely purity. So some of you guys could also have this Taurus energy too. And that's really grounded in earthy and sensual pleasure. So you might like to use food in the bedroom, or you might like to listen to music and different things. I feel like I'm getting that too. You have really, really, really great taste, pile two. And that also is what separates you. I feel like a lot of you could be like artists or art critics, where you really just appreciate different things. You have a different ear, you have a different eye for things. And so you appreciate things you appreciate things different from what other people appreciate them for. So again, expand your world instead of judging it when people appreciate that. Instead of you being like, you don't listen to Mozart, you know, why, you know, be like, well, let me introduce you to Mozart. And then you'll be surprised, because I think that these people will appreciate, and again, find very sexy that part of you that is a little different. So we got this earth energy again. So that Taurus, so Virgo, Libra, Taurus, strong energies here. Like I said, I feel Gemini, Capricorn, and what's the last earth sign? Capricorn, Virgo, Taurus. Oh, this Mercury retrograde. But, there's this earthiness again, and that there's this stability to you. And I do think that you have, maybe I'm hearing specifically maybe Mars and Taurus, where you move at your own pace, and you're not afraid of that. You're not afraid of moving at your own pace. And that's a beautiful thing, because some people can be rushed. You're not a person who can be rushed. You literally go through hoops. In fact, I feel like you might take too long acting on situations that come in because you're so analytical about your relationships. All right, so let's move on. Jupiter return. So there's a bigness. So some of you, I'm getting this. Yeah, some of you guys could be fuller. You could be some of my fuller women. Don't have to be. But for a lot of you, I feel like there's something about you that's robust. And if it's not your entire being, then there's something about you that's really big. And it could be a smile. It could be a smile. But it would be something that people acknowledge and notice about you. There's something, again, with this Jupiter energy, strong Sagittarius, and Piscean energy. So you could be highly educated too. So that's why I said there's something here about your education, your mind, that is super, super attractive and sexy about you. Sixth house, more Virgo energy. Oh my gosh. Yo, you're like my Virgo Libras, my Virgo Taurus energies. Again, Vedic astrology. Or you have Venus in Virgo, Mercury in Taurus, like some type of Venus, Virgo, Venus, Earth combination that you got going on. So there is something here about your routine. There is something here about you take very good care of yourself. And that's perhaps why you could be a kind of a neat freak, or like a germaphobe to an extent. Like you really care about like your appearance, and everything has to be in a certain place. Some of you guys could in fact be OCD of some sort. I don't know if it's anything that's, I'm not saying that as I hope that didn't come off as negative, but yeah, some of you guys could just really be very particular about things. And I feel like you're really particular about your health. So this is probably my vegetarians and my vegans and my like really like yoga people, and kind of like that earthy energy, those earth witches that we have. And you love that, and you do really, really well, but you take very much care of your routine. So I feel like, yeah, you got to step out. You have like this contradictory energy, this Jupiter and Virgo is kind of what I'm hearing too, where you can spend so much time on the little details, and that's probably what you're good at, but you can fail to see the bigger pictures. So please open yourself up. Please open yourself up. That's this huge message for you. As nice as it is that you're so oriented here, you got to open up, because you can't see the you can't see the trees from the woods because you're so focused on one thing. So open up, how to, please. But this is sexy. That does not mean that people don't find that. People find it adorable about you, that you're so like, I gotta do this, and this has to be here, and I love being clean. There are people who love clean people. You're one of those. So that's very sexy. People are not going to walk into your house and it's not going to smell good, look good, and be together. Like you're always on. You always are together. For the most part, right? So we got fourth house, right? This home energy, and Pluto transformation. So there's a scorpionic energy here, and also a motherly energy, Cancerian energy. So like I said, I feel like in the beginning, a lot of you might change yourself often. Like you're always on to the next. Again, there could be some Gemini energy here where you're constantly like doing something else. You never try to stay put in one place. But there's this shelteredness about you. So this is, again, stepping out of your comfort zone. Something else that people find sexually alluring about you is that you could constantly be changing up your room. You might constantly just be moving furniture, buying new furniture, just constantly doing something in your house, reorganizing, redecorating. People find that hella cute. You know, that might be something. I know that there's been some YouTube channels and like some TikTok people who pop off from cleaning things. You would be one of those people, and people certainly find that sexy. That is a vibe and a bop. So there is something here, homey. I feel like you're very welcoming. Once you open up, which takes a long time, but when you do finally open up and people get to see that Taurian energy, they feel really at home and at ease. Because like I said, your fridge is filled with the finest food, the finest wines, the best music is playing. Your senses are overloaded with these awesome wax things. Like you just really provide a really great hospitality and warm experience, and people find that extremely sexy. So we got pronghorn action. Now is the time to act. Opportunities are here. Move forward with confidence. Your talents will always help you land on the pinnacle. Your quick wit and keen senses will lead you to success. Like I said, that quick wit. People cannot keep up with that mouth. A Mercury ruled person. And your confidence. I feel like that's something too. You've allowed your confidence to kind of be this blockage, but it also is kind of really sexy, but don't hide behind it. I'm also getting this energy that some of you guys are kind of short. You're a little shorter than like you want to be, or shorter than your partners, and people like really like holding you. There might be something pretty childlike about your energy or your look. Yeah, so I'm getting that energy too. And some of you might have Aries too. Let's look into it. So I'm going to be using these cards. We're looking at the images here. Right. So I'm getting here, for some of you guys, I'm really being pulled to your skin, and your eyes are like super pretty. You probably look good in blues. Maybe blue's your favorite color, or you have a lot of blue in your home. But there's a hiddenness. There's a mystique behind it, because I don't think that you come out of your shell unless you know that it's time for you to come out of your shell. You will look and peep and study somebody from the shadows before you ever approach. So I really feel like that's such an interesting depiction. You have a lot of secret admirers. People are afraid to speak to you. And you, for what it's worth, are afraid to speak to people. You're kind of shy. And you are from a distance, okay? So yeah, here I'm getting like this angel wings, and there's like this holding energy here. Something for some of you guys, your hair. I feel like you have like really nice, like thick, beautiful, long, luscious hair. But I'm getting this energy here. What is sexy about you? Like, yeah, there's just this detachment, right? I said that at the beginning. There's this detachment from you. People could be longing for you and moving towards you, but because you're always on the move, because you're always on the go, you know, it kind of seems like you're inaccessible at times. And that is kind of sexy, you know, because you're not too easy. You're not, listen, you're not easy at all. So that's the first, second, third of all. But you're really not an easy person to get to know. So there's always more. So I feel like you might attract some scorpionic energy, or some Scorpios, people who are just determined to figure you out, or a lot of Taurus energy with people who are committed to staying for that long haul. So again, yeah, there's something here about that hair. People just want to hold you, protect you. Like I said, I feel like some of you guys could be shorter than the average bear. So people just want to like hold you, protect you, and keep you safe. And then like, again, that dual energy. There's a duality to you where people are feel hidden. People feel like they only get to know half of you at a time. Which again makes sense with Virgo, any of that mutable energy, Virgo, Pisces. This is funny because it was in the last reading too, but that Virgo, Pisces, and I struggled, Gemini, Sagittarius. Less Sag, could be Sag, but I'm getting specifically Gemini, Virgo, and Pisces, where people don't really know. There's always a part of you that's hidden. There's always a part of you that's hidden. And that's very sexy because people, again, want to get to know you. They want to get to know you. All right, any last messages from a pile 2 people about their sex appeal? Right. Ace of Cups at the bottom of the deck. So I just feel like you're in the midst of becoming a woman. There's something super childlike and innocent about you, but then when you get older, and again, that Black Panther, so that mystique, that mysterious air about you, because you're so hard to get, there's a detachment to you. When you really open up, you are one hot mamacita, okay? Like, nothing can bring you down. Everything seems to be going in your vibe. Like, you are so strong and so powerful once you open up, but I do feel like there's a growing up for you. So like I said, some of you guys could be on the younger end of the spectrum where you're just coming into your sexuality. And have fun with that. Be open with that, because you're going to be you're going to be a lot more powerful than you give yourself credit for. I feel like, Pal 2, you spent so much time thinking about your sexuality. You have yet to act on it. And that's what I'm going to leave you on. In order to do that, you got to bring down some of those standards, bring down some of that criticism, and rev up you know what I'm saying? So that is really what I got for you. That is really what I got for you, pile 2. Thank you so much for joining me. Please let me know if this resonated. Don't forget to check out the description box below on how to book a personal reading with me. Follow me on Instagram. I've actually been so good posting there. Now I got TikTok. Let me tell you, I've been so good on my Instagram. So please follow me there if that interests you. And yeah, happy Valentine's Day and peace until next time, guys. Alrighty, I'm going to clear this freaking board. And then I'm going to move into our last pile 3. Alrighty, so we are moving into pile number 3. This is if you picked this cream deck. Alrighty, guys, thank you so much for joining me. It is AD with Chaos Tarot, and I'm going to be doing your pick a card. So this is what makes you sexy, what makes you sexually attractive. I just want to do something fun. Right now, I'm recording this around Valentine's Day, and I want everybody to be able to participate in the sexiness, single or coupled. This, I hope that this reading inspires you to live your best life, all right? And be your most sensuous, sexual self. So let's go. What is your sex appeal for pile number 3, guys? Yeah, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And let me know what you think in the comment section about this reading if it resonates with you. All right, so let's see. And I also have some oracles that I'm going to pick up at the end of the reading to see what energies you're dealing with, but we're going to start with the tarot. All right, let's see. What makes pile 3 sexy? What is pile 3's sex appeal? The Knight of Cups. I feel like some of you guys are really good with your words. 9 of Swords, interesting. Came out in the exact same spot in the first pile. The 5 of Cups. What is pile 3's sex appeal? The 7 of Swords. Man, I don't know who's clicking on this video, but I have some harsh... I was like, I deal with some people who really play hard to get. I love it. I'm an air sign myself, so I completely understand. At the heart of the reading, we have this 2 of Pentacles. We have the 2 of Cups. The Judgment card. The 5 of Swords. And then last but not least, what makes pile 3 sexy? The Death card. Interesting. All right, so we're going to let me tune into these energies right quick. Excuse me. I'm getting really strongly pile 3. You have been probably in a very long-term relationship before this. This might be one of your first Valentine's Day alone. If this resonates, of course, I'll pick up on another energy. This is a really specific energy that I got going on. But your sex appeal right now is really lying in the one who got away. I feel like you definitely took your talents elsewhere with the 5 of Cups to the Knight of Cups here and the 9 of Swords. And you were worried if you made the right decision because now you're like, freak, I'm all thrown back in the mix of this. I haven't dated in a while. I don't know where to go, what not to do. So I'm really nervous. But Spirit is saying, calm down. You are a magnificent partner. You are very much wifey material. I'm not sure why this last relationship decayed, but let's look into it. With this Knight of Cups, I feel like a lot of you are really good with your words. Some of you could be poets or talented or artistic, creative people, and that's really sexy. People enjoy that about you. I feel like you might be insecure about it and you don't share it with most people, but the people that you do share your art with and your creativity with, they really find that super sexy and it's hidden. So I feel like you also have a lot of hidden talents. Your sex appeal lies with like you are a onion, layers and layers and layers and layers and layers and layers and layers. And there's an on-offness about you. That's resonated in all 3 of my piles that I've done today. There's an on-offness about you, this flightiness, this flighty kind of energy where people don't know if they can keep up with you. The 2 of Pentacles. People, I feel like they never know where you stand. You could have quite, I don't want to say a temper, but because you are so critical of relationships and critical of people, you could be really, really in one day, and then you're not afraid to speak your truth and cuss somebody out the next day and not talk to them, and then be like, hey, want to hang out, like a week later. So there's really like this kind of difficult energy to keep up with as far as your words. Sometimes your words don't match your actions, and sometimes your actions don't match your feelings. And so people don't really know where they stand with you in this snaky energy. So I feel like there's an in and outness about you. There's something, I'm getting Slytherin. So if you were a Harry Potter fan, you definitely would have been the Slytherin person. There's a lot of Scorpionic energy here too. Yeah, with the Death card. So blacks, I feel like you look really good in black, long, flowy dresses. That is something, if you have like a little black dress or long black dresses, those are also very sexy for you. I feel like the breasts are very, very full, very, very prominent. You might not be too hard on the punani, on the back game, but I feel like the front game is all there. Yeah, there's just something here about your sex appeal that I'm getting, that there's almost always an ending before people realize what's so sexy about you. You're so kind of cool and to yourself. I feel like one thing that you offer in your relationships that is super sexy that people don't realize they want until after the fact is privacy. I don't think that you are like all up in other people's business. I think that you're kind of like, hey, you do you, I'll do me. We'll call it that. I'm not going to chase you down. I'm not going to hunt you down. I'm not going to do all this rigmarole. You're not going to get me off my piece. And so you offer a lot of freedom in relationships. You could snoop sometimes, but I feel like you don't. I feel like your intellect, not your intellect, but your intuition is super duper strong, where you just have like this knowingness about you. And that's super attractive. You're able to say things and they just kind of happen. So people wonder, like, are you a witch? Maybe perhaps you do tarot, or you're interested in that. But I feel like a lot of people don't know that about you if you do practice any magic. Let's see. Yeah, there is this energy here too with this Nine of Cups and the Five of Cups. I do feel like you make people work for you, which is very sexy. But I feel like there's this avoidant energy from you. So you might be a feminine or a masculine, but particularly the feminine. You are a runner. You're definitely, is it bad that I never made love? No, I never did, but I sure know how to, okay? You really know how to put it on there and keep it going. I don't feel like you stick around. Again, this is birthed from insecurities with the Nine of Swords and just kind of an overall fear of commitment. But fear of commitment can be sexy because, you know, people are trying to like conquer you. But I feel like people never know where they stand, and you're not afraid to speak your truth. You're not afraid to cut people off. You're not afraid to walk away. That is super sexy and dominant. You're not afraid to end things at this point. So, again, if you're falling into the category of you're coming out of a very long relationship and this is your first relationship, as you move forward, you know, if people aren't treating you with a certain amount of respect, you're like, out, don't need it. And if you haven't been in a long-term relationship and you're just entering into one and they don't meet your requirements, you do not hesitate to walk away. So with these two fives here, I do sense that there might be a feeling of loneliness or isolation, that like, you know, people don't get what you want. And I feel like you go and you teeter between like, do I actually want a relationship or do I want to focus on myself? And again, this is popping up in your sex appeal reading. So that indecisiveness is kind of sexy, and it really makes people want to want to win you over, because again, I think that you are pretty avoidant and you're open about it. You're like, I don't care. I don't want to be in nothing. I'm not going to come off of my horse just to be with somebody. I'll be alone. I enjoy my freedom. And you should enjoy yours. I feel like that's a really heavy energy. Getting strong could have like, yeah, Aquarius energy, Aquarius, Scorpio energy. I also feel like there's something secretive about the people who like you. Again, the Death card, Scorpionic energy. So you might have a lot of secret admirers. People like loving you from a distance. People like loving you from afar. They really are good at hiding their feelings, and I feel like you are too. So that's one of those things where you attract people who reflect you. So you're not the most open when it comes to your feelings. I feel like you're one of those people who will like stalk somebody and then you know, follow them, stalk them, and do all the other good stuff, but not really speak to them in person. I feel like people do that with you too. So you're always kind of like in this middle of like, I don't know where we stand with this card. If you're a masculine, I feel like you have a big you know, I'll leave it at there. I'll leave it there. But with that Two of Pentacles, if you're a masculine here, I do feel like you have been gifted and blessed. All right, now let's move in. I think that's all that I'm getting from the tarot right now. Yeah, let's move on to your oracle cards. So right here we get Neptune. So yeah, there's a strong Piscean energy about you. There's a naivete about you, something that's kind of childlike that I think people like and find very attractive because you're so dreamy. I don't know if a lot of your relationships feel like they happen in the 3D because you're so caught up in the 5D, and there's something super magical about your energy. There's something supernatural about who you are and the things that you attract. And again, I think that it scares people with the Nine of Swords, and I think that it scares you because you could have like your 7th house in Pisces or have really strong Piscean energy. But there's just an elusiveness. That's what I'm getting. There's an elusiveness about you. Fire. So Aries, Sagittarius, Leo. So super passionate. It's interesting because fire didn't show up in the tarot. Let me see what else is there. Saturn. Fire didn't show up in the tarot, but I do feel like you're super passionate about the things that you do. I'm picking up specifically Aries energy, where you always want to be on the go, or maybe you're just constantly moving forward, but there's a lot of desire and passion surrounding you, but I don't feel like people feel comfortable coming forth with it. Oh yeah, look, we got Saturn as the next card. So Saturn, very earthy, kind of grounded energy, discipline, but I do feel like it takes a very long time for people to access that passionate side of you, and maybe you yourself haven't felt like you've had it. Again, if you've been in a relationship for a long time, you weren't able to explore this side of you, and if you haven't been out and about, then you don't know exactly how dreamy you come off. Again, I'm being drawn to these this butterfly, kind of like this angel wings. So there's something here about transformation. So some of you guys, I'm getting, could have had like a body change, like where you may have gone through some sort of surgery or some kind of cosmetic surgery, or you've done a lot of work and lost a lot of weight. So people are just kind of being adjusted to you. I feel like maybe that happens a lot where you just go through all these different phases with the Neptune energy. You're so elusive. You're constantly changing and evolving. And so people find it hard to kind of keep up with you. But I do feel like you're getting closer to that person that's able to express that passion. I do see with the Nine of Swords here, there has been a fear of commitment. It might be because when you do get into relationships, you're so passionate. So you're like, cool, 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 cool. But then once you do enter into that thing, you're like, oh, I am in this head over heels. So I do think that when people earn, again, this passion from you, it really is quite desirable. And you are, and I'm hearing the word frisky. You're a lot friskier than people give you credit for, but there's just something so hidden about it, about you. I love that. Oh, wow. Secret admirer. So that's funny. I'm not even reading those cards that way, but I did want to make note of secret admirer. So there are a lot of people who like you that you don't even know would, which might not help you right now, but hey, do your thing. So we got Aquarius. Okay, so there's definitely an aloofness and an evasiveness to your energy. You could be very smart, and maybe that's where the commitment energy comes into. Like I said, you provide a lot of space and freedom into your relationships. You might have Venus in Aquarius, Aquarius in the 7th house, in any of those combinations, Aquarius in the 5th house. There's so many combinations that you can have to get this, but you have it in your partnerships. And so you're constantly always going in different directions. You're constantly always moving forward. I feel like you do not like to be bored. You do not like to be bored. You constantly have to be entertained. That's something that also people find sexy about you. But again, you have to attract fire energy. So you might not have it with you, but I feel like the partners and the people that you attract will have fire energies, because they, again, have to be able to keep up with you. Yeah, change. Wow. Change. You're constantly going through different changes, transformations. You're constantly morphing into a new and improved version of yourself. I feel like a lot of you are highly spiritual. And so you might believe, it's crazy because I'm getting like this, a little bit of a contradiction with this Aquarius energy here. Because you're able to love multiple people at one time. And when I say love, you can, define that for what it is. But because you're able to love multiple people at one time, you're so scared to settle down for just one love. So it prevents you from like this commitment. So that's sexy. It's your sex appeal that you're a commitment phobe. It's there, as people definitely want to conquer you and conquer that energy and be like, no, you're going to be in a relationship. I will make you love me. I will make you be in a relationship with me. It's kind of what I'm getting. Wow, we got this Leo energy. So you might be an eclipse baby yourself, where you constantly go back and forth, right? With I do want a relationship, I don't want a relationship. I do want to be with somebody, I don't want to be with somebody. You just keep going and doing, and you attract. I feel like you just attract these really strong fire energies. These really strong people who are constantly chasing after you, and you're constantly like, no, I'd rather be free. Okay, now I'm free. I want to be in a relationship. Oh, now you're too clingy, so I'm going to keep going this, like with that Two of Pentacles. So you're constantly just like wavering back and forth. We got this sun card again to back up Leo. So there's something that's very authoritarian about you. I do feel, if I had to guess, does not matter if you are, but this is definitely a masculine pile. This is certainly my masculine energies here. So if you're a female and you're watching this, you just have very dominant masculine energies, or all of your placements are in masculine signs. You are very emotionally detached from relationships. You genuinely have to make a decision in order to be in one. And there's also something authoritative about you. So you're very bossy. That's why I think that you prefer to do relationships on your own time, because you like things done a certain way. I'm getting strong fixed energies. Yeah, Aquarius, Leo. I'm looking at the 8th house here. So all this fixed energy. You do not move for nothing. And I think that it's just in your DNA, in your nature, in your natal chart, that you are kind of flibberty gibbet when it comes to your relationships, especially with this Neptune. You feel differently at different times about who you want to be with and what you're going to do. And I don't know if that energy is going to leave you. Particularly if you've already been in a long relationship and you've been there, done that. I don't see you trying to get back into another long-term relationship very quickly. I see you kind of stepping into that, being like, I don't know if long-term relationships are for me. It was comfortable because, again, all this fixed energy was nice that it was predictable, but I don't like having to answer to somebody. I'd rather do my own thing. So I'm getting this really strong energy here. And again, this is strong about endings and beginnings. All this change, this 8th house. Again, dark colors. You look spectacular in dark colors, dark lips, dark fingers. So that's something, if you're trying to figure out what you're going to wear for Valentine's Day, the darker the better is kind of what I'm getting. What was I trying to say with this? Again, because people never know where they stand with you, there's constant opportunity to reinvent the relationship and kind of start over again. And people find that super sexy, because most people are the same humdrum. You know, you are unpredictable, sweetie. Like, again, you can watch pile 1. You probably relate to pile 1 too. And again, this card was the same. So if you have any extra time and you just want to check it out, but there's just something about you that's constantly like, you don't know where you stand with me. And because of that, people are constantly having to come back and prove who they were before. You're not satisfied with just any old person saying that they are gonna, I don't know, swoop you off your feet. You're just not, you're very hard to impress, and you don't mind walking away from situations and relationships. So that's very powerful, because I think it keeps people on their toes is what I'm hearing. So you got 2 cards. So you got Dragon, Supernatural. Wow, some of you guys could have been born in the year 88. I'm getting Dragon Spirit. And it says, you are the ancient wise sage. You can shapeshift at will. Mastery is your destiny. Rise with dignity. Okay, so shapeshifter, that is your gift. Again, I've been watching True Blood, guys. So, you know, I'm all into the supernatural right now. And you are a shapeshifter. You're able to adapt into any scenarios. Perhaps some of you guys could be an actress or actor or an artist of some sort, where you just morph into these different personas, or you just have different personas for yourself. And there's, again, this mystery. So this white dragon, which I'm getting Yu-Gi-Oh! I don't know if you remember Yu-Gi-Oh! Cards, but I'm getting that Yu-Gi-Oh! White dragon card, who's very, very powerful, very, very forceful. But I just feel like there's something here that also coincides with the moon. So there could be a witchiness about you, and people also find that super sexy. You're like, definitely like, it's a full moon, I can tell, da da da. And maybe you even have practices, especially with that 8th house occult. So you might even be somebody who going back to what I was saying earlier, I don't think that you're a snooper. I think that you allow a lot of privacy, but you will pick up a deck of cards and check in on your lovers. People know that they cannot keep shit from you, because you do have such a strong energy of all knowingness. Like, you just know shiz. It's pretty spectacular. Wow. And then we have Goose, inner knowing. That's so funny. I saw the card, but I wasn't paying attention to it. And you are a brave traveler. Your soul knows the way. Be confident you will achieve your destination. Loyal friends are always with you. Don't worry, you are blessed. Let yourself fly. So there always could be some traveling here too. I don't think that you stay in one place. There's definitely a gypsy kind of energy here, where you're constantly on to the next one, or you're about to move, or you're about to move on. So there's like this, that's where that missed opportunity that I was feeling on. So I do feel, kind of ending on this really interesting note, you are about to move or embark on a new journey. And so that's why people are coming at you now, because they know that you're about to fly away. And so people want you. So now that's why I started with, you're the one who got away, because you are about to start on a whole new chapter, whole new adventure for yourself. And people are recognizing that now that you're leaving, for some of you guys, or that you've left, for the people who have been broken up with somebody. So really interesting energies that we have for you, pile 3. Let's look. Right. Wow. So we have this beautiful, again, all this surrounded by this butterfly energy. I feel like there's something that's really wholesome about you when you are sleeping. People like watching you sleep. Cool. And again, just this crown chakra, I do feel like, or not this, or whatever, I could be butchering that, but this third eye chakra, excuse me, that you possess. There's just this inner knowing, this knowledge that you have, that you always are able to say the right things, and you're so, you just know shiz. And I really think that that is attributed to a lot of that Aquarian energy. Aquarius in Vedic astrology is ruled by Saturn, which I always find to be super interesting, because Saturn is the planet of slow moving and discipline. And you just seem, Aquarius is like all over the place. Well, it's co-ruled by Rahu, which is the, and that's a whole nother different conversation. But Aquarius is essentially ruled by Saturn and Rahu. And it's funny because Saturn is just kind of like, it's time. So the reason why you know certain things before they happen is because you're like, I've seen this before. I've lived lifetimes before. I have this knowledge that you don't have to tell me this is going to explode if I like this match, because like, I already know that it's going to explode when I like this match. And so it really is this third eye energy. And again, a lot of you are super witchy. That's super sexy. But people are scared because they know that they can't hide anything from you. Like I said, you don't have to snoop and go through somebody's phone. You will call up a reader or do your own reading, see that 3 of Cups, and be like, got you. And then we have like this 2 lovely heart chakra energy. So your heart chakra is super open. Like I said, I feel like you might have Venus in Aquarius, which seems like a bad thing because it's an air sign, but it's actually really neutral and does well, Venus in Aquarius, because you are actually capable of unconditional love, because you love different things for what they are. You accept people can have their freedom in a relationship. There's a possessiveness that comes to you later, but when you're in the dating phase and you're getting to know somebody, you have no issues with people. Well, I won't speak for everybody, but most of you don't have issues with people exploring different relationships. I'm sure that you've had some really crazy zany relationships just because you're so open. And this is something that is super sexy about you, that you have had all these experiences, and it is because your heart chakra is so open and so fulfilled, and you do go through all these transformations all the time. You're not afraid to end something, to start something new. You're just constantly on the move. And like I said, you're about to be on the move again. So anybody who's kind of talking to you now, they're about to feel like they missed out, because you are really about to flourish into something else in this beautiful butterfly energy. So it's interesting because I do feel for you, pile 3, your singleness is what makes you super sexy. It's so funny to all those words just to say that. Your singleness and your solitude is really what makes you super duper sexy, that you can be on your own, that you don't have to be with anybody. That is your strength. And in fact, you're afraid of relationships. That's what they don't know. Like, you're like, I'm terrified of them. But I really get that this beautiful intuitive energy, you're okay being in your own. You're not searching for anything. You're not searching for anybody. You let people be who they're going to be. And that's super sexy and very rare, very, 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 very rare and super powerful. And I do think with all the Scorpionic energy, you know how to throw down in the bedroom. Can I get an amen? So that is really what I got for you guys. Again, please let me know what you think of this reading. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Drop a comment down below. Oh wait, I pulled extra cards for everybody. Sorry. I'm not gonna leave y'all hanging. But any final messages? Yeah, another 5. yeah, there's this energy here where people fall in love with you. The longer that you stop talking to people, the longer that you leave people on red, the more that you just are like, poof, I'm doing my own thing and not bothered. People find that so attractive. It turns them on. What a twisted little thing you got. I'm sure that could be frustrating. But the cooler that you play it with that Aquarius energy, the more that you shine. So stay doing what you do. Again, your sexiness lies in your singleness, pile 3. So that is a super dope vibe. I'm curious to see if this resonated. But again, drop all that information back there. I won't try to run through that again. And thank you so much for joining me, guys. And peace. Until next time, happy Valentine's Day if you catch this during that time. And yeah, we're going to do it up. Single, engaged, coupled, trying to break up with somebody. Who cares? It's happy Valentine's Day for everyone. Period. Until next time.